Hi, I'm Jonathan Anderson and I'm here to present you the new J.W. Anderson for Uniqlo collection, and I'm here to talk you through. This season I wanted this idea of like London nearly on the weekend, of like being able to leaving your home, and what that was as a kind of like a British classic, but at the same time the idea of like being able to kind of blend into the landscape. We continued with the codes that we've been building over the last several seasons with Uniqlo, and this idea of British heritage, this idea of the classicism. You know, when I think about this collection, I always think about what I would wear when I get up in the morning, and I like something which I don't have to think about when I go to the wardrobe. It's nearly like an extension of me in terms of personal style, both in men's and women's, and you will see in kids. It's a collection which is made out of very humble fabrics, and it's very honest and pure in its approach, and it has this element of lounge, this element of like ease. And I think that's really important in dressing at the moment, this idea that, you know, in clothing, that there is a kind of relaxed atmosphere in terms of being able to dress something up or dress it down. We've been able to develop some really nice things this season. The Duffel Coat we've done in this amazing check. It was taken from an old kind of swatch of fabric that I found in a swatch book. For me, it reminds me of like Paddington Bear. It's a very kind of British icon for me. The knitwear this season, one of my favorite pieces from Uniqlo anyway is the Cashmere Sweaters, and I really love that this comes from a piece that we had done many years ago at the Weave, where we did a collection where everything was different on the back. So we've been able to do several colorways of this season, navy and black, which is always a favorite of mine. Striped hoodie, double stripe. And we have got loads of other types, Donegal knit, where you've got loads of like the flecked color, which is a very kind of traditional knitting technique. We obviously, as always, we always have a bag. I looked at this idea of something which was nearly what you would have when you were a kid. It's made out of a canvas. It's very kind of like, for me, it reminds me of when I was young, going to school, and at the same time going camping. Then over in the women's, we have got, this is one of my favorite colors, cornflower blue. It reminds me of some very good friends I have that have sweaters in this color. I always think it's something that reminds me of the weekend. It's something which I feel is uplifting, especially on a day like this where it's very grey in London. And once again, we have the Donegal as well, and the rib sweater. And over here, we've got a beautiful double-faced coat. I like this idea of something which is both very unisex. It's sort of like incredibly lightweight. We've done a very slight tonality, this idea of kind of sort of like, it's a classic that you could bring out over and over again. We've explored on this idea of imitation shearling, something that is like a secondary coat that you could nearly layer. So for this season, actually back with popular demand, we've been able to bring back the kids wear, which is really exciting for me. My brother actually has kids, so in our family it's become very popular that we have miniature things from J.W. Anderson, so because we don't do it in the main. This season I'm really proud of it. We've done miniature versions of the main for the men's and women's, and it's, you know, it uses the same fabrications, and I like this idea that, you know, that it really feels like a total wardrobe. In terms of the conceptual element of it, I really love the idea of like mother and daughter wearing the same, or father and son, you know, wearing the same thing. In terms of jackets, we have done a little parka, and we've done these like cute little like zip-ups with the little pockets at the front. What is great about this sort of like little capsule is it's sort of like, it's very kind of universal, and I think that's what I really wanted. You can mix and match, and it's sort of like, it's not completely gender focused, and I think that's really important in the climate that we're in. So here I put like together just two looks that for me was like kind of the starting point of this collection. I wanted this idea of like a kind of unisex wardrobe. And in terms of color palette, it's very kind of warm, kind of thing between like the English countryside and the city. There's like a toughness, but at the same time a kind of softness. We've got the shearling jacket, which is made from not shearling, which I really like because it's like an old flight jacket, and you have this feeling of like a suede on the back. And then you have the rib sweater, and then you kind of have the lounge trouser, which is kind of a wool trouser, which is one of my favorite trousers in the women's. And then we've got a kind of men's zip top, which is something that I always have in my wardrobe. I quite like it because it's something that can be quite smart, but then can be dressed down. Once again with the amazing chambray shirts and then the flannel trousers. I think what is nice here is that it's something that is very timeless, it's very kind of subtle, but at the same time it really has a good amount of versatility within each garment so that you can reuse over and over again in different occasions and different settings. So in these next two looks, we put together kind of, for me, this idea of city and country together. We have the shearling for women's, which is made from a faux shearling, and we've teamed it with a menswear dress shirt. The idea is that the shirt can be worn with trousers or not, and it really is just sort of, you know, bringing this idea that we have in JW, this idea of masculinity within women's wear and vice versa. In the men's, we have got a really nice Anorak, which is a piece that I would wear in the country, but at the same time during the day in the city. And we've continued with the stripe this season, really kind of exploring different subtleties as well as in the socks that match the jumper. And overall, I kind of really love this season, this idea of stripping and reducing things down to the kind of classicism and the kind of precision of something which is timeless.